Poe's view on the Masque of the Red Death. Introduction. One of the most important themes explored in the Masque of the Red Death is the inherent equality of death. Edgar Allan Poe uses the word masque in the title to symbolize a one-of-a-kind celebration where people cover their identities behind masks to foster safety and experience joy. Shortly after the word masque, the term Red Death, which depicts blood or horror, is mentioned. The Masque of the Red Death by Poe is a socio-political reflection on the gulf that epidemics create between the wealthy and the impoverished. Socioeconomic class divides have always existed, but during a crisis such as a pandemic, it becomes more apparent that there is a natural split between those who can afford to survive and those who cannot. For someone who writes dark and mysterious stories, Poe's choice of the title leaves one to wonder how joy can be connected with the concept of death from the symbolism he employs. Poe conveys his perspective in his short story using the environment, literary allusions, and symbolism to demonstrate that death will always arrive, no matter how great or exhilarating life may be. The Masque of the Red Death. The plot revolves around a prince, Prospero, whose kingdom got stricken by a dreadful illness. Prospero is derived from the Latin word prosperus, which means doing well. It refers to flourishing in good fortune and social rank. Prince Prospero, the protagonist's well-chosen name, embodies this concept through his social standing, grandiosity, and luxury. He is a hero to people in positions of money and power. This is because he protects them but is an anti-hero to those who reside outside the castle and cannot defend themselves against the disease known as the Red Death. Prospero's primary goal in this novel is to avoid death while having fun and disregarding problems that do not directly affect him. Prospero's magnificent castle is directly analogous to the security and comfort enjoyed by the wealthy and those who work from home. While these individuals may lack walled castles, their homes provide a haven for them and their families, something that many do not have. In the puzzle of the color symbolism, Poe's criticism of Prospero's wealth is not intended to accentuate all of his beautiful possessions but emphasize social class and status inequity. The novel's action takes place at a party in the palace in 7 imperial suites arranged from the east to the west, just as the sun sets. The author purposefully used 7 rooms arranged in a clockwise direction to represent the progression of life. The 7 days of a week serve as a metaphor for the completion of life, while the east to west direction corresponds to the sun's journey. The author expands on his meaning by elucidating the colors used in each chamber until the 7th room and each of the 6 rooms are painted in bright shades. Poe uses this to demonstrate that the prince and his fellow men enjoyed life but did little with it. The 7th room was the most contradicting of the others because it was painted dark and featured a ticking clock that reminded the occupants that they were getting closer to their demise as time passed. Additionally, the black room was an essential component because it was the sole chamber that signified death. In contrast, the clock indicates a continual reminder of mortality and a symbol of its inevitability. The author stresses how agitated the story's characters are by the ticking clock. They believe it serves as a reminder of mortality and the external world, with the elderly feeling the most uneasy due to their proximity to death. After a brief moment of reflection and stillness, the crowd resumes the party, oblivious to the troubles they face in the outside world. Poe interprets this as a symbol of living for nothing and dying for nothing. In other words, individuals live meaningless lives and die with no recollection of why they even existed. Similarly, it is comparable to the actual world regarding inequality and how the wealthy can assist people in need but choose not to do so. The story's climax occurs at midnight when the clock strikes 12 times. Poe chose the number 12 symbolically to signify the end of the day, or in this case, the end of life. Unexpectedly, an unwanted guest crashes the party wearing a vulgar mask. Later on, the Red Death takes on a life of its own, and the guests immediately take note of the newcomer. Poe employs the allegory of Out Herod to explain and visualize the Reaper's arrival at the party. The reference is to a king in the Bible who was a murderer and a lunatic. Poe adds another biblical allusion to his explanation of the Red Death: he came like a thief at night. Poe used the term thief to describe the manner the Red Death found its way into Prince Prospero's visitors. Both allegories are predictable in their references to the Grim Reaper, who has come to the party, but both convey the same consoling message that all the party members will meet their end. When the Reaper arrives at the party, everyone immediately assumes he is the Red Death, the cause of the plague that has recently overtaken the country. Surprisingly, they are correct in their assessment. The feast ended, and the prince attempted to incite a rebellion against death by pressing for a beheading. No one else knows what will happen next, which prevents them from acting. When the prince attempts to attack the Reaper, he is murdered. The rest of the world quickly follows suit within a short period. Conclusion. In summary, as Poe makes it clear in his novel that death is the ultimate conclusion of living, and it is one's action that can bring significance to the time one spends on this earth. Additionally, he uses references and symbolism to communicate with individuals in positions of authority. He also espouses progressive principles, which should and would be beneficial in some cases. Lastly, the author explores the interplay between life and death through a complex topic of paradoxes. Poe's story has to teach us about how we may all help each other in our struggle against death on this planet. The intrinsic equality of death is one of the most fundamental themes covered in the Masque of the Red Death. The term masque is used in the title by Edgar Allan Poe to represent a one-of-a-kind event in which individuals disguise their identities behind masks to encourage safety and joy.